The beginning of Chapter 5 focuses on the laws of exponents, things that you've seen before. Obviously, we're going to take it to a whole new level throughout this chapter. Just to review the law of exponents. First off, we have the most basic property, which is if you have two numbers with the same base and you multiply them, you simply add the exponents. On the same note, if you have division, you then subtract them. If you have something such as ab to the x power, you can distribute this in to get a to the x, b to the x. And we also have the power to power rule, where if you have some number b to the x power to the y power, we can then get b to the x times y. And lastly, if we have b to the negative x, a negative exponent really just means flip it. So we have the negative exponent property, we have the power to the power, we have dividing, same bases, and we have multiplying. So now let's right away go right into just doing some problems. So let's do some examples. Number 1. And you're going to notice I'm not really going to be working with the calculator. Let's take something as simple as 2/3 to negative 1. If we do this, this negative 1 exponent flips into each one of these, flipping it to get 3/2. If I said something like this one, 4 times 3 to negative 2nd. It's important to notate that this negative 2 is only on the 3, and therefore it becomes 4 over 3 squared, or 4/9. If I give you a problem such as this, 4 times 3 to negative 2nd, now the entire quantity is being flipped, so it's therefore 1 over 4 times 3 squared, which is 1 over 144. So this is a very important distinction about the position of the exponent. Another problem would be, let's say we take 2 to negative 1 times 4 to negative 1, all raised to negative 1 power. This is where you start making mistakes. This distributes in, and therefore we get 2 to the power of 1 times 4 to the power of 1, which is 8. Now let's look at the harder version of this problem. The harder version says 2 to negative 1 plus 4 to negative 1, negative 1. This cannot be distributed in because it's a plus sign. The only way we can distribute in is if it, let's come up here, is a product. Therefore, what we can do is we can flip this and flip this, and we can find an LCD here. By finding the lowest common denominator, we'll get that product, or quotient. If we find a common denominator, we get 3/4 to negative 1. And now, since this is the quotient, or basically a product, we can flip these individually to get 4/3. Let's do one or two more numbers before we switch over to variables. Number 6. How about negative 2n squared over negative 2n squared? So in this problem, this 2 gets distributed to both these items inside the parentheses. Therefore, we get 4n squared over negative 2n squared, which is negative 2. This cancels. Number 7. Let's do 8 to the n power times 3 to the n power over 4 to the n. We are not using a calculator. Therefore, we have to find a way of rewriting this. 8 to the n is nothing more than 2 times 4 to the nth power. And then from there, this can be distributed to become 2 to the n times 4 to the n times 3 to the n over 4 to the n, so that cancels. Therefore, you're left with 2 to the n times 3 to the n, or 6 to the nth power. This idea of breaking this up into its factors is going to become very important in this chapter. So now let's switch gears and do some problems involving variables. So number 8. If we have something like 2rs cubed times r cubed minus 4rs squared minus r squared s cubed. So we can distribute, and we just have to remember to add all the exponents. So 2 times 1 is 2, r to the 4th, s cubed, minus 8, 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, r squared, s to the 5th, minus 2r cubed, s to the 6th. That's it. Let's take another one, such as 3a cubed, b squared, c to the 5th, all over 2a to the 4th, c squared, cubed. We can distribute this to get 27 and 8 as in two numbers. The exponents we can multiply, so we get a to the 9th, b to the 6th, c to the 15th. On the bottom we get a to the 12th, c to the 6th. And therefore we get 27 over 8. We can subtract these to get a cubed in the bottom. B's are all up top, and the c's become c to the 9th on top. One last problem that we'll do, number 10, is 3a cubed times 6a to the 6th all over 2a to negative 1. Another problem that you guys make mistakes on all the time. If we simplify the top first, you'll see why you can see how you will not make a mistake if you simplify the top first. 3 times 6 is 18, a to the 9th, over 2a to negative 1. This then flips up, or you could subtract these to get 9, a to the 10th. The mistake usually is people flip this up together. If 2 does not flip up, it does not become 36, because this exponent is only attached to the a. And that wraps things up for this mini lesson. For tonight, you're going to do page 173, numbers 1 to 11 odd, and then tomorrow we'll pick up with this in groups. Thank you.